Hello, it's me, Josh Hunter. I'm presently in the city of Santa Monica, California. I think a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. Well, let me tell you what I've been doing. As you know, I'm going to be a very successful YouTuber, and I am going to also have a celebrity wife. And I think it's important to recognize something here. I'm not particularly familiar with, intimacy or anything like that, but I do know that I don't like mischief. And so, I don't know, the idea, if you're, sometimes I say things and people think, Alright, so anyway, I went on this kind of rant, okay? Because I'm working on this marriage, alright? Like, granted, I mean, I don't necessarily know who my celebrity wife is going to be. I mean, I got some guesses. But I don't know for certain, who's going to be my celebrity wife. So that's just something I spend my time with. In the meantime, there is an emotional and mental space where my marriage is. Like, if you think about, like, just the location of things, there's a space where my marriage is, like the place where I get married. It may not be like necessarily a physical location, but there is like a space, a mental or emotional space, spiritual space, whatever. And that is a spot where, like, no matter what, no matter who I get married to, that's going to occur in some space. And so what I've been doing is I've been trying to work on my marriage, the marriage area, the area where my marriage is supposed to be. And so a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, I went on this long rant because I got the sense that someone was trying to interfere with my marriage. And anyway, it wasn't necessarily threats of violence. It was just threats like, this is not something you want to do. You don't want to be like, go mess with someone else's marriage. And I'm not going to get into it because I'm not like a violent person, and I can't throw a punch. But one of the things that I did say was that if you think that, I'm talking about you and that you're like, oh, he's talking about me. When he's talking about his wife, his celebrity wife, that's me. Like, I'm the one he's talking about. It's very important that you take the time to consider that. Not necessarily, it's definitely going to happen, but I mean, like, the reality of it. Be sober. Okay? Don't have any dreams or fantasies as to what you think it will be like. I'm a very sober person. I love to drink alcohol, but I cherish sobriety. So, if you're someone like who's like at home right now, or you're somewhere and you're thinking, oh, when Josh Hunter is talking about his celebrity wife, he's talking about me. Really think about that, okay? So take the time, like, imagine, for example, you introducing me to your parents, okay? Not introducing me to your parents like as a successful YouTuber. Introduce me to your parents as I am now, as a homeless person with no money, no friends, no prospects, haven't showered in something like 2.5, 3 years, haven't brushed my teeth in about the same time. And imagine yourself saying to your parents, hey, this is my husband, Josh Hunter. Just think about it, because I want you to live in reality. And it may be more important that you marry someone else right now. It may be more important that you go date and marry someone else other than me, because you might be getting late to something that you need to be on time for. Okay? Like, if you're sitting around here dreaming, sleeping, thinking like being married to me is going to be some fucking fantasy, it ain't. Okay? The only person who's marrying me is someone who has to marry me. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Like, the only woman who's marrying me is someone who has to marry me. She doesn't have any other options. Okay? Like, that's it. Like, that's. I'm a man of functionality. I'm a man of utility. Okay? So it's not. If you're thinking, oh, we're gonna be fucking living in this romantic situation, and my baby, my honey, my sweetums, oh, how I love thee, and all this fucking like poetic bullshit. I'm a sober person, okay? I got real things to deal with. And if you're thinking that like this is gonna be like some nice fun time and like it's gonna be anything other than work, you got another thing coming. And I need you to realize the reality of it. Because there's something that happens when you have this idea in your head and you think, oh, it's going to be like this and it's going to be really good. And then you meet the reality of it. That disappointment is poison. And I don't need that disappointment, and you don't need that disappointment either. Maybe. Maybe you do need that disappointment. I don't know. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make. Sorry, I shouldn't have said poetic bullshit. Nah, I think that works. Poetic bullshit. There. It's important for you to just go over this idea, because some of you ladies are like, oh, he's homeless now, but like I know he's gonna have money later on. He's going to have money, and you're basing it on this expectation, like, oh, things are going to be like this. That's why I'll marry him, because things are going to be like this, and that's no reason to do anything. To guess as to how the future is going to be and say, oh, I'll do it because I know this is going to happen. Times are more uncertain than they've ever been, if I'm not mistaken. So, I want you to go through this exercise, this routine, presenting me to the people who are most important to you, the people whose opinions matter to you the most. So just practice this. Say, hello, friend or associate or relative with whom I care about very much. This is my husband, Joshua Hunter. He's homeless, he has no money, he has no prospects, and all he cares about is drinking beer, watching TV, playing video games. And he doesn't want to have children. And we will never have children. He doesn't bring anything to the table other than himself. He doesn't have any friends. Everyone who he knew previous to 2012 pretty much said, this guy's a piece of shit. There's no career. He hadn't taken a shower in 3 years. He hadn't brushed his teeth in about the same amount of time. And I'm his first girlfriend. I mean, his first real girlfriend. Just go over this, okay, is what I'm saying. I need you to be living in reality. If you're close to me, you can't be having like these like absurd fantasies. Okay, you can't be having like these situations where it's like, oh, where you imagine us like, you know, having some like fucking like quiet incident on the beach or something. You know, or you know, me like serenading you with some very like sweet song or something, like, cause that shit ain't gonna happen. All right, I got work to do. I still haven't played Zone of the Enders Second Runner. Okay, that came out like 18 years ago. Okay, there are so many things that I need to be doing, and so you're marrying me because you got a pretty good idea of what you require, what you need. You're marrying me because you know what you need, not because of what you know is going to happen or what you think is going to happen. So, to my celebrity wife, I think these are good, but you know, stay sober. Secondly, if you are not my celebrity wife, if somehow you think that I'm talking to you, that you're thinking, oh, it's me. I'm his celebrity wife. When he gets famous, when he gets money, he's talking about me. You need to think, okay? Because if you are having this feeling that, oh, like, if you have the feeling like, just watch your feelings as you imagine presenting a 300-pound homeless man to the people you care about and saying that this is your husband. How does that make you feel? Okay, how does it make you feel to say, oh, my husband is a 300-pound black homeless man? Okay, not that race has anything to do with it, but you need to work on that. I mean, you need to understand, like, because I know we got this whole Black Lives Matters thing, but let's be real. I mean, come on. Anyway, all right, I'm just saying, some people have an issue. I don't, but it's important. You need to go over this beforehand, okay? You don't want any surprises in your feelings. So, maybe I should have said black. African American. This 300-pound African American guy. That's right, okay. Actually, I probably shouldn't. Maybe I will. And they could use my blood for something. Anyway. Alright. So, it's you know, so once more, I want you to think about what it would be like to present to the people whose opinions matter the most to you, and also think about what strangers will think. Think about walking down the street and people like looking like, oh, she's married to a fucking homeless guy or a guy. Obviously, if I'm with, I mean, I don't know, we're both gonna be homeless, but you gotta think about that too. Like, I mean, maybe like things don't go so well, and then we're both on the street. How about that? Hope you got the bucks. Okay. Anyway, so just think about like what does that feel like? Just the judgment, the criticism. Like, oh, she's like what a disgusting woman. Like what an unseemly woman. Like, I can't believe that she's married like this. I've seen this guy, you know, fucking eating garbage, and you're married to this disgusting fuck. Think about it. Like, it may be like such a thing. Like, no amount of fame that I have, no amount of money could quell. You know, it could be like some thing that like doesn't go away, like just a fucking stench and odor that just that just lingers. And you, if you really care about me, you got to think about that. Because if that bothers you, if the idea of people knowing that you are married to a homeless, 300-pound homeless man with no prospects, who only wants to hang around, drink alcohol, play video games, watch TV, if that idea bothers you, then we got no business being together. You understand? We got no fucking business being together. We got no business, being in any type of a romantic situation. Not even dating, that's what I'm saying. So, I don't want you going around having this idea. Like, you need to be okay with making with the idea of me never having money. like 100 years of no money. Like, you being the sole breadwinner and paying for everything. Because then you'll know what you really feel like. You know you're not pretending. And you can wake up from this, you know, delusion that you're having. Because I don't want to be with anyone who couldn't fucking take me as I am right now. Anyone who's like worried, who gets nervous, like, oh, what are people going to say? Like, oh, how do people feel about me, like, fucking being married to this homeless guy? Like, how do people feel about that? If that is even like a question, you know, like a question, like not like a question to understand it, but a question like, oh, I don't want to look bad. If you have like this feeling, like, I don't want to look bad, I don't want to be embarrassed, we have no business together. Because you're around me, you got to be okay with looking bad, and you definitely need to be okay with being embarrassed. Like, that's the reality that I live in. There are tons of embarrassing things happening all the time that I have to deal with, and I don't have a problem with it, because I love being myself. I love being myself. And if you are someone who doesn't love being yourself, this is not the place for you. All right. So I'm just saying. Don't get yourself all amped up thinking this is gonna be like some fucking non-embarrassing thing. That you know. I'm nervous. My hand's trembling. I'm getting a little nervous. I'm not saying I'm an embarrassing person. I'm just saying you need to be okay with it. I've done a lot of work, and I'm not going to be with someone who isn't at very least willing to do the work. I'm not saying you're going to have to do as much work as I did, but you need to at the very least be willing. I want to know that you, if by some chance you were then compelled to do the same amount of work that I have had to do, that you would be willing to do it, at least willing. Because what I'm looking at now is like there ain't anybody who's willing to do it. You know, to me, like this is still like, you know, I am working on the space where my marriage is, but who knows? Like maybe it's just an illusion. Maybe I'm just dreaming. Either way, that space is gonna be fucking like great fucking space. Alright. So be sure you know who you are, and make sure that you're not being insincere or disingenuous. Because you need to start finding some other boyfriend or some other husband. Or, I mean, you need to start finding someone else who you think is going to be your boyfriend, or someone else who you think is going to be your husband. Because I'm not the guy. Right. I'm 34 years old, and I've got the best grades on earth.